Well, greetings and welcome to the Pick a Card results for March 8th through the 14th. That's Sunday, March 8th through Saturday, March 14th. You were to select from card group number 1, card group number 2, or card group number 3. When you comment your card selection below by Monday, March 9th, you are automatically entered to win our March giveaway. And every week that you comment for each of these picker cards during the month of March, your name is added an additional time, which increases your chances of winning. And so, welcome to this week's pick a card. This week, we are looking at basically messages from spirit, what we almost need to know, do, and be aware of in general. What messages that spirit has for us, or what divine messages are for us, or what in general we most need to know, do, and be aware of. Before I go into that, I have a couple of very quick announcements, and then I will go into our opening intuitive message. Make sure that you click down below to download my class, The Feminine Self-Care Secrets to Attract Abundance and Joy. This was one of the classes from my Sexy, Powerful, and Loving Chakra reboot. It was a 21-day class that I did probably about a year ago. And so this is one of those classes. And so in this particular class, you will learn how to self-care in a feminine way. The importance of being and not just doing, because sometimes we get so caught up in what we have to do that we forget that the power of our doing comes from our being. You will also learn why luxury is not a dirty word to be ashamed of. The 3 ways to elevate your divine feminine energy, and how to use femininity to increase your magnetic energy. And so this is a 1-hour class. And basically, like just like the title says, you will learn how to self-care in a way that allows you to attract abundance and joy into your life. And so in that 1-hour class, as soon as you purchase it, you will get immediate access to it. And it is only $19.99. So that link is down below. The second class that I have made available is called Pleasure and Abundance Are Your Birthright. This is also a class that came from my Sexy, Powerful, and Loving Chakra reboot full course. But this is just one of the classes that I feel would be very beneficial to a lot of people right now. And so in that class, in the Pleasure and Abundance Are Your Birthright, you'll learn why making the best of what you have is actually devastating to you. And a lot of us have been trained to just accept, or make the best of what we have. And I won't go into all of that here, but over time, that is devastating to your sacral chakra, the part of you that is made for creativity and pleasure and joy and abundance. You'll learn how to elevate your self-worth so that you actually attract the experiences that you desire. And you'll learn how to allow the good that you desire for your life to flow to you. I tell some very powerful stories in that class that are helpful. And so just like the previous class, this one is also about an hour long, and it's part of the Sexy, Powerful, and Loving Chakra Reboot full course. But this is just, 1-hour class from that. So if you're interested, make sure that you click the link down below. Both of those classes, the Feminine Self-Care Secrets to Attract Abundance and Joy, as well as Pleasure and Abundance Are Your Birthright, are only being available for a very limited time. So make sure you click down below and get them while they are both available. Also, as usual, book a personal reading. Those links are down below. Also, get the book, The Magic of Self-Love. Leave a love offering, also known as a donation, if this channel is benefiting you, in support of this channel. And then also subscribe, because when you subscribe to this channel and you like my videos, you give it a thumbs up, that helps my channel, and that actually encourages me to continue recording these free pick a card readings. So make sure that you do that down below. So that is it for my announcements. Excuse me. So we're going to go ahead and get into the opening intuitive message, which I really don't have too much to say that I was feeling this week. Even when I was in my meditation time, I was thinking about, okay, what should this week's topic be about? What should the pick a card be focused on this week? And all I kept feeling was just, what does spirit want people to know? What messages, what spiritual messages are there, So I didn't have a specific, sometimes some weeks there is a specific topic like, how to make, money, or how to overcome subconscious fears, all of that kind of stuff. I think that was last week, the subconscious fears one. But this week I just really felt like, with us being in this Pisces season, with us going through this Mercury retrograde, still, which we will come out of this week. I believe Mercury starts going direct on March 10th. But if you watch my Mercury retrograde special, and that link is down below, if you watch that video, then you know that we will still actually be feeling some of the effects of Mercury retrograde for at least another week and a half or so. So we're not fully out of the woods yet, but we're working our way out of it. But having us being in having a Mercury retrograde in the sign of Pisces, and then the sun also being in the sign of Pisces, and Pisces being a very deep, watery sign, a sign of heavy emotion sometimes, a sign of where there's not a lot of clarity, where, on its positive end, there's a lot of, it represents our dreams and our imagination and our fantasy, and even our spirituality. But on its lower energy, as we know, all 12 signs have high and low energy. On its lower energy or vibration, Pisces is the place of illusions and self-sabotage and escapism. And so having Mercury retrograde there also, which causes miscommunication and confusion sometimes. This particular Pisces season could have been very draining for a lot of people, very emotionally draining. And it's like you're just waking up every single day, just trying to figure out how you're going to get through this particular day. Like, or almost feeling like you're awake, but you're dreaming. Have you ever felt that? It's like, you're awake, that you're going to work or driving your car, doing whatever it is that you have to do for the day. But at the same time, you kind of feel like there's a sleepy haze over you, or everything is not fully clear. And so that could have been what a lot of us were feeling for the past few weeks, is that, we're living, but we're kind of dreaming at the same time. And we're doing what we have to do day to day, but we're still not sure what we want to do with our lives. We're still not sure if we're even going in the right direction, if we're making the right choices. We're just kind of plugging away at it, and so, but that's very typical of Pisces season, because Pisces season encourages us to dream, but it also is a time when we should be connecting even more with spirit, even more with the Most High God, your higher self, your ancestors, however you define that. I have to say everything because I don't know who's watching. But that is the time when we are to connect even more sincerely and intentionally with spirit, because it is literally like your dreams, when spirit speaks most clearly to us when we are dreaming, because our conscious mind, and the mind that wants to reason and argue and debate and all of that kind of stuff, is finally asleep. And so it's not blocking the messages that spirit has to say. And so the entire Pisces season is kind of like that, whether we are asleep or awake. When we are asleep or when we are awake, the whole season itself is one that teeters between sincere spirituality or illusions. And it's up to us to choose which side of the line we want to be on. Are we going to sincerely, connect with spirit, connect with our higher selves, do more meditation to really hear what spirit is trying to say? Or are we just going to go completely into the illusionary or not dreamlike, but the illusionary escapism role? Either way, you're escaping from reality, but how you do it is going to be either helpful to you in the long term or detrimental. So if you're escaping from the physical reality in order to tap more into what spirit is saying and doing more prayer, meditation, then that's good. But if we use this time to just kind of escape from reality because we can't deal, because we don't want to make wise choices, because we don't want to see what's truly there, and we want to kind of lie to ourselves and imagine other things, you know, then that's not was beneficial to us. What's so awesome about this week is that we are having a full moon. I believe it's happening on Monday the 9th, but we'll feel it at least a day or two before and a day or two after, a full moon in the sign of Virgo. And Virgo is the opposite sign of Pisces. And so whereas Pisces is otherworldly and spiritual in the sense that it is not physical, Virgo energy reminds us of the physical, tangible world. Virgo reminds us of our reason for spirituality in this physical world. It reminds us that, okay, yes, you're tapping into spirit, you're hearing spiritual messages, or you're having these dreams and these visions, or you have these imaginations or these fantasies and these desires. Okay, let's make them real. Okay, let's bring them back down to earth. Let's be grounded. And so this Virgo full moon during Pisces season is kind of like a checkpoint also to remind us that spring is coming. And so just like the natural world goes from its dormant winter state into spring of new life, and earth itself is rejuvenated and comes back to life, so are we. And so this Virgo full moon is a checkpoint to remind us that spring is on the way, and that it's time to kind of touch back into this physical reality world, and however we grew spiritually or in our imagination, or whatever dreams we had and whatever visualizations that we had, it's time to bring them down to earth and start really bringing them into physical form, or bringing form to them, and not just dreaming and imagining, but becoming more practical about, okay, what needs to be done, what steps need to be taken, X, Y, and Z. And so it really kind of reminds me of when you're flying, if you're taking a flight somewhere and you're on an airplane, and when you, especially if you've been on a long flight, I've been on long flights before. Like if you've been on a flight that's longer than 2 or 3 hours, like I've flown out of the country before where, you're on a plane for way high up in the air for like 8-9 hours, just flying, right? And then, so you get used to being up in the air. You get used to the sound of the airplane. You get used to looking out the window and just seeing the clouds, right? And not being, excuse me, and not being connected to the earth. And then you start to feel yourself descend. You start to feel yourself coming down. You feel the plane slowly, dropping in altitude, right? It's coming closer and closer to earth. And the signs on the plane start coming on to say, okay, put your seatbelt back on, stay in your seat, put your tray table back up, all of that kind of stuff. And all of this is letting us know that we're coming out of the clouds, and we're about to touch down. We're about to reconnect with the earth. And that is what this tail end of Pisces season, this Virgo full moon, and then the upcoming spring season, which stars us in Aries time, is letting us know is we're getting closer to touching back down on earth. And so put your tray table up, put your seat back in the upright position, and so if you use the Pisces season as a time to really just escape and get wiped away emotionally, then this is a jarring time for you. It's like, oh my God, like, oh, wait a minute, wait, what's happening? But if you use Pisces season to really connect with spirit and say, hey, spirit, I'm up here in the clouds with you. We're dreaming and we're imagining together. You're giving me messages, divine messages on what to do, what to expect. All right, now it's time for me to return to earth. Then you're returning back on earth with, and I'm just using that example, but you're coming, you're touching down, you're getting grounded in a way now what is the word I'm looking for? You're coming back into reality with reinforced with wisdom, reinforced with knowledge, reinforced with direction on what to do. So that is what this reading is all about. This week's pick a card is, okay, what additional messages does spirit need to let us know what do we need to be aware of, what do we need to be cautious of, even in some cases. I don't know what these cards will say until I flip them over. But what do we just need to be aware of as we are coming back to reality, as we are being reconnected and regrounded into the physical world. And so the bottom of the deck, oh my gosh, again, this is the same one that came up last week, I think, is the Knight of Swords. Well, okay. Guess somebody really needs to hear this message. The Knight of Swords is a card of swiftness, of speed. I mean, look at him. He's on his horse. It is moving quickly. And he has his sword in his hand. He's armed. He's unafraid, and he is clear on his direction. He knows where he's going. He is, just put this right here so I don't have to hold it. He's clear on where he's going. He's clear on information and because the swords represent information and intellect and knowledge and awareness, mental awareness. And so he's taking action on what he knows. The Knight of Swords, and I believe I said this last week, the Knight of Swords oftentimes does represent hastiness. So we want to be mindful not to be too hasty, particularly on information that is not verified. So you want to make sure that you're not just speaking out of turn or speaking too rashly or harshly or taking action too quickly on just a bit of information without knowing the full story. But at the same time, the difference I would say that I'm feeling this week as opposed to last week when the same card came up in the bottom of the deck is that because this week we're looking at what information the spirit wants us to know as we are preparing to touch back down into the physical world. It would be that I feel that this week many of us will become very much aware. Like it's kind of like when you've been in a deep sleep and then boom, you wake up and you're like, oh my gosh, I had this dream, I had that dream, I had it, and you want to take action. So many of us, I'm not saying that we shouldn't take action or we shouldn't speak up where we need to, but I am saying I do feel that information will come to us quickly. So we may not be the ones who are moving quickly, but the information and the guidance and the wisdom may come to us very, very swiftly, because it's like, spirit waking us up and saying, okay, it's time to, get back into the swing of things. And this is what you need to know. So we need to be very aware and mindful and alert. That's the word I'm looking for. This Knight of Swords this week for me is giving me the feeling of alertness, like being alert, like not sleeping, being clear, like when spirit speaks, not just being like, oh, I think God told me this, or I think I felt in my spirit this, or I think when I meditate, it's like being alert to messages and signs and knowing what you intuitively heard, and then it also being backed up with actual information. I think that a lot of us, when we feel intuitively that spirit has spoken through our prayers, our dreams, whatever, feel like God has spoken to us in some kind of way, it will be verified by actual facts, by data, by whatever information in the real time world. So that is it for the bottom of the deck. And that is it. Wow. And it's very interesting. I didn't even see this, but the card that was up under that is the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords. Now, she takes the Knight of Swords stuff. She takes this dude's stuff. And look at her. She's on her throne. She's making clear and wise choices and decisions based on the information that is presented to her. She's a woman of wisdom, and whether you're a man or woman, it doesn't matter. It's just the point of, she's a woman of wisdom, of clarity. She wants the facts. She wants the information so that she can make wise choices. And so hearing from spirit and seeing that information from the Most High being verified in in our day-to-day life, whether it's something we see on TV or read in a book, whatever. I think a lot of us will be having that, which will any unclarity, any confusion that we felt up until this point, I feel that we will be coming out of it this week and we'll know what to do. And the only reason why you won't know what to do is because you don't want to do it, or you just ignore all of the signs. And so but it won't be because the information wasn't given. Okay. So that is it for our opening intuitive message. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, like this video, share it with people that you think will benefit. Don't be selfish. Share the love. Other people might need this message too. Click the links down below for the classes that I have available, because they will only be around for a limited time, as well as my readings. I'm going to soon announce how my business is changing. I meant to do that at the beginning of this video, but make sure you follow me on Instagram and Facebook, because I will be making announcements there on changes that are coming in my business and how readings will be available. So you want to make sure you get all of this stuff while it is still open and available to everybody. Okay. So, that is it. I love y'all. Okay. So those of you who selected card number 1, your reading is up next. All right, welcome to the results for card group number 1. This is your reading. Make sure that you comment your card selection down below by Monday, March 9th, if you want to be in the running to win our March giveaway. Every week that you comment, your name goes in the hat and increases your chances of winning. I will quickly go over the announcements just in case you were one of the ones who skipped ahead. Make sure you go back and listen to my opening intuitive message, because I started off by saying I wasn't going to talk long on there. And as usual, I did, and a lot of powerful stuff came out. And I also did a bonus reading in that video, in the opening intuitive message as well. So make sure you rewind to the beginning of this video to catch that. Click down below to get my class, The Feminine Self-Care Secrets to Attract Abundance and Joy. That class, actually 2 classes, The Feminine Self-Care Secrets to Attract Abundance and Joy, and also the Pleasure and Abundance Are Your Birthright class. Those 2 classes are an hour long each. They came from my full 21 day chakra reboot course. They're just 2 classes from that full course. But they're an hour long each, and they really talk about attraction and abundance, and tapping into the feminine aspect of ourselves. And it was designed for women, but if you're a man, it's totally okay, because we all have both masculine and feminine energy. So I share a lot of stories in that class, in both of those classes, about utilizing feminine energy and using it to attract in a healthy way, and bringing balance and to your sacral chakra and your solar plexus chakra. So those classes are phenomenal, and they won't be available for long. So make sure that you get them, and book a personal reading. Get my book, The Magic of Self-Love, and send a love offering. That link is down below if you want to donate to this channel in support of this channel. That lets me know that you like what I'm doing, and no donation is too small or too big. So make sure you do that, and subscribe also to this channel, and like this video, because that helps me to, helps my channel, helps me to keep doing what I'm doing. Okay, so I think that's it, y'all. I always reserve the right to add some more announcements. Anyway, so this week, March 8th through the 14th, we are looking at what we almost need to know, do, and be aware of in general. What messages does Spirit have for us as we are coming into the end of winter, the end of Mercury Retrograde, the end of Pisces season. And so it's a lot of shifts that are about to happen, and we want to know what messages the divine has for all of us as we are making these changes. And so the stone that is at the top of your deck is a quartz crystal, and this is a new one I got. I actually just got this. It was a gift while I was on a retreat a couple of days ago, about a week ago, at the beach. And so This is a quartz crystal, and quartz crystal is really, it's one of those stones. If I had to have a list of the top 5 stones everybody should have, this would be one of them. They can be programmed very easily for what you want and what you need in life. Quartz crystal will amplify whatever it is. And so if you are thinking more positively or beneficially and whatnot, you can really program it in that way. If you're carrying a lot of low vibration, you want to be mindful because you can also program it that way, but it works very well in conjunction with other stones. So let's just say, like, I have this amethyst right here, and I want to boost the energy of amethyst. However, I'm working with the amethyst, then I might carry both of these together, because the quartz crystal is going to help with that. And so it also helps to bring clarity. And, when you're seeking guidance, you just need clear answers. It really helps with that as well. And so, what I always tell you to do if you want to know more about this stone, make sure that you Google quartz crystal, clear quartz crystal. Okay. So I'm going to slide that up because I'm going to get to that in just a second. All right, so these cards here, the one on the bottom is your general wisdom and guidance. What crosses it helps you to know what will help or hinder you at this time. And you receive the 2 of Cups, and it is crossed by the 8 of Cups. The 2 of Cups, and it is crossed by the 8 of Cups. Now, remember, this week we're looking at what you most need to know, do, and be aware of in general, what messages Spirit has for you. So you have the 2 of Cups. 2 of Cups is usually about partnership and relationship. I'm trying to get that to stay. Partnership and relationship and balance, even, because the 2, the number 2 itself is usually like dealing with balance. It's not just one thing, but it's 2. And so there has to be reciprocity. There has to be balance. And sometimes 2 represents opposites, right? 2 opposing forces coming together, but the 2 opposing forces help to balance each other. For example, like male and female energy, they are not the same, but they are equal in their dispensation of force of energy, and the 2 of them coming together brings a kind of balance, a harmonious balance, in the 2 energies. If you go back and listen to my opening intuitive message, I talked about us being in Pisces season, but also having a full moon this week in the sign of Virgo. And Pisces and Virgo are opposing signs. They are, both doing the same thing, just from a different perspective. So Pisces is in service to spirit. Virgo is in service to the physical world, and so sometimes there can be this pull, whether to be fully immersed in spirit and, all in meditation and prayer and staying on high, and versus, being down to earth and being practical and being, using your spiritual gifts and your even your physical gifts in the physical world. And so sometimes there seems to be an opposing, they don't seem to be complementing each other. And when they're both on their lower energy, they're not. They actually are opposing each other. Just like masculine, I don't want to say male and female, but masculine and feminine energy, when they're both vibrating on their lower energy. And I'm going somewhere with this, so stick with me. When they're both operating on their lower energy, they are opposing. There are both want to be in the power seat. Both want to put the other in submission. Both are fighting to be in control. But when masculine and feminine energy are working together, they know their own power, they know their own strengths and their own weaknesses, and they're complementing each other for a higher and best good. So the question to you is, and perhaps what Spirit is asking you to do this week, look at your partnerships. How are your partnerships actually functioning for the highest and best good? Are you in a place where you are experiencing a lot of power struggles in your relationships? Are you in a position where, and again, because let me turn this light on, looks a little dark on here. um, the Two of Cups a lot of times is used for romantic partnerships and love and all of that kind of stuff. But it could be any partnership where it's you and another person, a business partnership, any type of relationship where it's just you and another person, where there's feelings involved. It could be you and a child even. Two of Cups is not often used for, a parent and a child, but I'm saying all of this because those are relationships where there's a lot of emotions. The cups represent your emotions and your feelings. And so, I'm just I have to speak to everybody because I don't know who's watching, but, examine all of your relationships and see where, is there any emotional depletion? Is there any, are there any power struggles? Is there any competition in your relationships where it's like, man, we should be loving each other, but why do I always feel like I got to compete with this person? Or I'm trying to one up each other. Or I'm trying to prove myself, or, and what have you. And the reason why I'm saying that and taking this route is because it is crossed by the Eight of Cups. And the Eight of Cups is a card of, whenever I see this card, it usually represents when one is feeling not as emotionally satisfied any longer, and they're kind of looking for something else. If you even look at this card, the person they have their cups down here, but they're looking away. They're walking away from what used to be emotionally fulfilling, and they're looking for something deeper or more emotionally fulfilling, or what once used to excite them or make them feel good or what have you is no longer doing that. And they're realizing that they need more, they need to go deeper. And, having even this moon here on this card, it's like really going into your, going in a direction that you've never been in before, looking where you've never been, or just going deeper, to soul searching even. And so there may not even necessarily be a problem with the other person. It could just be you needing to do some soul searching. Excuse me, you needing to go deeper, you needing to really ask yourself, what is it that you really want? What is really emotionally fulfilling to you? And that is something, since we're looking at what Spirit is saying, or what some of the encouragement that Spirit may be giving to you right now, is for you to do some soul searching, for you to not be superficial, even in your partnerships. Sometimes we partner with others, whether that be in love, business, whatever, in a way that is kind of superficial, or that is in very basic terms satisfying, but not deeply soul satisfying. Or sometimes we expect the other person to satisfy us, and we forget. Yeah, I'm feeling that strongly for some people, that we forget that it is our job to find our own happiness. It's our job, first of all, to know what happiness means to us, what joy means to us, what fulfillment means to us, and not put that burden of responsibility on somebody else, and then being so despondent or frustrated or irritated with that person because they weren't our all, they couldn't, fulfill us or satisfy us in this way that we expected. But it's like Spirit is saying that that's not their job. Your job is, for example, if you go back to what I said earlier, is not the job of the masculine to be fully satisfied by the feminine. It's not the job of the feminine to be fully satisfied by the masculine. It's both energies' jobs to be whole and complete, within themselves, and then to find compatibility and support and upgirding in a way that helps to support the happiness and the joy and the fulfillment that each already has. It's like complimenting. I mean, this might be a dumb example, but it's like, ketchup and French fries. It's not the job of French fries to make ketchup taste better, and it's not the job of ketchup to make French fries. You know what I'm saying? They're both seasoned to perfection on their own, and then they just complement each other when they come together. You know what I mean? So likewise, you were to look at Are you doing all? This is what this Eight of Cups is saying. Are you doing all to make sure that you are spiritually grounded, that you are spiritually and emotionally satisfied and fulfilled? Or are you draining your partnerships, expecting them to do that for you? Or is somebody doing that to you? They're expecting you to be their all. When really it's their job, and so that is really what I feel spirit is saying to you at this time. Let me flip this card. This is kind of like an outcome card to give some additional wisdom. Yeah, the Queen of Cups. Wow, the Queen of Cups. Oh my God, she is the queen of emotions. Look at all this cups, y'all must be feeling a lot this week. Or if you're not, you need to be in tune with your emotions. If some of y'all are kind of ignoring them and doing the whole escapism and acting like you don't feel what you feel, it's only going to come back to bite you, because you cannot ignore your emotions. You cannot ignore your feelings. You cannot refuse to face what you are truly feeling inside. And emotions are not a weakness. Emotions just let you know where you are on the spectrum. Okay, so the Queen of Cups here is saying that it's so important that you nurture your emotions. The Queen of Cups is the queen of nurturing her feelings. She's so in tune with how she feels. And just like all of the cards and all of the signs, she has a higher and a lower energy. So on one hand, she's very in tune with how she feels. She's holding her she's responsible for her emotions. She is clear on how she feels, and she stays in tune with her higher self. She's using her emotions as a guide to know how connected or disconnected she is with her higher self or with God. She is devoted to her calling. She is devoted to that which she is to love and to nurture. So but on her lower end, she's an emotional wreck. She's emotionally all over the place. So you were to ask yourself, are you somebody who's emotionally all over the place or emotionally disconnected even? Or are you somebody who can really truly be in tune with how you feel, and then use how you feel to gauge whether or not you are destroying any partnerships, or you are not really connecting with your what brings you emotional fulfillment? So the Queen of Cups is really encouraging you to feel this week and use your emotions as a way to know what spirit is saying to you. So if you're emotionally all over the place, then spirit is saying, okay, let's break these emotions down. Okay. You go from angry to sad to depressed to angry to happy to joyous to way back down. What is going on with that? Okay, well, you feel nothing. What's going on with that? Or you're playing the blame game on your partner. Why is that? Why do you feel that your partner is 100% to blame for everything that's going on in your life? Or you take all of the blame and you don't, bring balance and harmony to that. You can't take blame for everything because it's a partnership. You get what I'm saying? So I don't know who I'm talking to here. So I have to give all of the examples. You have to make this work for you. But basically, this is a week for you to where spirit is calling you to check in on your emotions and to know how you feel, and to know that feelings are a good thing and emotions are a good thing, and to get emotionally connected to what brings you joy. Remember what brings you joy, what brings you happiness and contentment. Okay, and so the goddess, the goddess that chose to speak to you this week, and the goddesses speak to us all, whether we are a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. The goddess that is speaking to you is Skuld. Skuld. So I'm going to read two messages from her. The first is her empowerment message, and the second is her alignment message, just in case you find yourself out of alignment. So her empowerment message to you is, as you set your intentions for the life you desire, the Norse goddess Skuld comes to show you glimpses of your future. You experience these magical journey markers as flashes of insight and moments of inspiration, like an echo of something that exists in another dimension. It's fun when things turn out exactly as you predicted, but remember that the essence of your intention means more than its form. The goddess Gold, who rules the destiny of gods and men, says remaining true to the moment is your greatest power. Allowing the self to evolve as you go and discovering new things today sets the path for destiny to unfold. The power of the present and how you respond to life's potential is the potent, fertile seed of the future. In order to claim the future, you must attend to the now. Even then, nothing is guaranteed and everything is infused with magic. Her alignment message to you is when you become overly fixated on the future, you rob yourself of the capacity to truly co-create a life that is meaningful and rich. It's because doing so gives your power away to something, some destination that has no substance. It's like you are wandering around in a ghostly place that the goddess Gold warns you to avoid. Perhaps you've been taught that better things come later, like getting to the wonders of heaven after difficulties on earth. The truth is that you can get back into alignment. So consider this: your life now and how you respond to it are the seeds that will grow into the future. Your alignment task is to remove all the weeds before they choke the life out of your intentions. Bless your life today. Find the lessons in the conditions of your world and be compassionate to yourself and others. We are all learning to find strength in our most vulnerable selves as the world changes rapidly around us. The goddess Gold is with you all the way and always. All right, so she is reminding you of the power of, though she holds the future is built upon what is happening presently. And so presently, you are highly encouraged to review your partnerships, review how you, I really feel like it's really about reviewing how you show up in your partnerships and asking yourself, are you expecting someone or something else to be your all? Are you forgetting your own power? I feel like Spirit is saying, to remind you to be like the Queen of Cups. When she is in our highest energy, she is so devoted and committed to God, if you will, to her higher self. She is, she is very much in tune with spirit. And so you likewise are being asked to be very in tune with spirit. And that takes some, I'm not saying that it takes walking away from your relationships, but it does take it takes some time tending to your spirit. And that's a solitary act. So that means even if you're in a relationship, you might need to acknowledge that you also need some time to really tune into spirit. It doesn't mean you don't love that person. It doesn't mean you're leaving them. It just means that you want to make sure that you are fortified and built up within yourself, without depending on that person to be your spiritual all in all, because your spiritual all in all does not come from another person. It comes from the spirit that is within you. And that's how you build your future, whether it's just yourself or your future with another person. You do it in the present moment, right here and right now. Okay. So that is your reading for the week of March 8th through the 14th. Make sure you comment your card selection down below by Monday, March 9th to be in the running to win our March giveaway. Make sure that you click the link below and get the 2 classes, the Feminine Self-Care Secrets to Attract Abundance and Joy, and also the other class that Pleasure and Abundance Are Your Birthright. Those are 2 1-hour classes, very, very powerful, and they will not be around for long. So make sure that you download those right now while they are still available. Subscribe to this channel, like this video, please, and share it, please. Leave a love offering. I don't care if it's only $5. It's just the act of reciprocity in support of this channel, and book a personal reading. Everything that I'm naming right now, particularly my readings and my classes, they may not be around for long. Actually, my business is about to change. And so how I make certain things available may not be the way that it has always been. So you want to make sure that you get these things while they are still available to you. Okay. So subscribe. Oh, make sure you follow me on Instagram and Facebook, because I make a lot of announcements there on what I will be changing. And so those links are down below as well. All right, y'all, for real. That's it. Love y'all. Until we speak again, I'm wishing you all so much peace and love. Well, hello there and welcome to the results for card group number 2. I will quickly go over the announcements just in case you are one of the ones who skipped ahead. Make sure that you comment your card selection down below by Monday, March 9th if you want to be in the running to win our March giveaway. Every Monday that you comment on a pick a card reading, your name goes in the hat an additional time. And so within a month, you can have your name in the hat at least 4 to 5 times, depending on how many weeks are in the month, which increases your chances of winning. Make sure you go back and listen to my opening intuitive message because not only did I do a bonus reading in that, and so you want to get that, but I said I wasn't going to talk long, and of course I did, and I went deep. And so you want to make sure that you listen to that because what I say in the opening intuitive message will give you further insight and clarity on what I share here. Also, make sure you come back and listen to these results throughout the week because what I say here, what you hear me say now, basically might make more sense to you later on in the week. I have 2 classes that are available for a very limited time, 2 audio classes that you can download. The first one is the Feminine Self-Care Secrets to Attract Abundance and Joy. And the second one is Pleasure and Abundance Are Your Birthright. They both tap into or teach you on using femininity. Whether they were designed for women, but whether you're a man or a woman, they can be helpful because we both carry masculine and feminine energy. But they both talk about utilizing the feminine aspect to attract in a healthy way, to attract joy and abundance, the power of your being. And the power of your solar plexus and your sacral chakras to help you use creativity and magnetism to draw what you want into your life. And so both of those classes are an hour long each, and they're available for a very limited time. So make sure you download them while they are available. Also, book a personal reading. Those links are down below to do that. My business will be changing very soon. So how I make my readings and even my classes available will not be the same. So you want to make sure that you get access to all of these things while they are still available. Make sure you follow me on Facebook and Instagram because I will be announcing there the way that my business is changing, as well as how to get on my email list so that you can be notified outside of YouTube. So make sure you do that. So book a personal reading, get my book, The Magic of Self-Love, subscribe to this channel, like this video, because that helps my channel and that encourages me to continue to make these videos for you. But also leave a love offering. The link to do that is down below. I don't care if the offering is $5 or $500. It doesn't matter. It's all about reciprocity, and that also encourages me to continue to do this work, this free work for the public. All right. So I really love what I do. So I just love when you love me back. Okay. So that is it for the announcements. So let's go ahead and get into it. The stone that you have on the top of here. Ooh, I love the way it's shining in that light. You see how it has a little purplish in there, but it's a moonstone. Moonstone is a stone. Obviously, it's connected to the moon. The moon really represents our dreams and our intuition and our subconscious mind and even our feelings and our emotions. And so moonstone is really great to have when you are trying to tap into your emotional self and even your spiritual self in a way, the part of you that is not as obvious. So with us preparing to experience a full moon this week in the sign of Virgo, which I talk about in the opening intuitive message, a moonstone is really good to have because it helps you to connect even to that moon energy, that emotional, intuitive, imaginative, subconscious mind kind of energy. And and even the feminine side of ourselves, we, like I stated earlier, as men and women, we all have masculine and feminine energy. And sometimes the feminine gets ignored because we live in a world where we have to take action, where we have to-do lists, where we have to do things, where we have to think logically and objectively to get things done. And so then our subconscious and our subjective and our feeling and emotional state takes a hit as a result. And so you want to, which then causes us to erupts later on emotionally. So having a moonstone helps us to really check in with how we feel. It's a really good stone to have. So you know what I always tell y'all to do? If you want to know more about this stone, make sure that you Google moonstone. All right, so this week we are looking at what you most need to know and do and be aware of in general. Like, what messages are there from Spirit at this time as we are wrapping up Pisces season, wrapping up Mercury Retrograde, having this full moon in Virgo, and spring is right around the corner. It's a lot of shifts and changes. And so we want to be aware of what Spirit is saying to us so that we know what to do, and how to prepare. The card on the bottom is your general wisdom and guidance. The card that crosses it lets you know what can help or hinder you at this time. So you have the Three of Swords, and it is crossed by Judgment. The Three of Swords, and it is crossed by Judgment. Okay, so the Three of Swords. Oftentimes when this card appears, it is representing some sort of heartbreak sometimes, or betrayal, or just anything that impacts you in the heart chakra or the heart part, your feeling self. So the Three of Swords, even though it's a swords card, and the swords oftentimes represent information and knowledge and intellect, right? And data, but it's piercing the heart. So it's like becoming aware of something that is, or getting information about something that is potentially hurtful to you. This may have been something that has already occurred. This may be something that you are getting ready to go through. And so you just want to be aware that this is a good time to stay very in tune with Spirit, because when challenges come, when things come that impact us on a heart level, sometimes we don't know what to do, right? When things impact the heart, the swords represent knowledge, and so we don't know, we don't have the information to know which direction to go in or what to do, who to talk to, or whatever. And so then your prayer life becomes even that much more important to you, because it is what will guide you through difficult times. Now, for some people, yeah, that could be, excuse me, that could be the obvious, like, heartbreak. Like if you're in a love relationship and there's, betrayal there or heartbreak there or what have you. But it could just be anything. It could be something, anything that is close to your heart, and you feeling that in a deep way. So anything or anyone that you care about, I mean, even down to like a job, for example, that you really like, you really love, and maybe you find out that your coworkers are talking about you, or that you might be losing your job, So anything, that is impacting the heart. The good thing about when I see this particular, the Three of Swords, is really, it brings awareness to something that perhaps you have been blinded to, that you have ignored even. And now the awareness comes in such a way that, yes, it's hurtful, but it's like you just can't ignore it anymore. And if you go back and listen to the opening intuitive message where I talk about, Pisces season and Mercury retrograde in Pisces and all of this that we've been going through, on one hand, yeah, it's a time to really connect with Spirit. But on the other hand, it was a time when a lot of people could have been sucked into an illusion and have ignored certain signs and have put their head in the sand, and or have had tried to escape reality. And so Three of Swords is definitely like, you cannot escape reality. It's like, here it is, you need to see what is going on. And so even as hurtful as it can be, it is actually good because it makes us aware, makes you aware of what is really going on. Sometimes the Three of Swords is very, very blunt, harsh, hurtful, deep pain. But then again, because you're not the only one who selected card group number 2, so I have to give a lot of examples. It could be just it doesn't even have to be detrimental. For some of you, it may not be a hugely detrimental thing. It could just be disappointment, a mild disappointment. It could just be something that maybe you had your heart set on, and then you get information or news or whatever that makes you have to recalibrate what your heart is set on. You have to change, kind of a change of plans. With it being crossed by judgment, judgment is one of those. I like the judgment card because it's calling you into judgment. It's calling you into a new level of awareness. It's calling you into wakefulness. Is calling you to wake up, like you can't be asleep any longer. So the judgment card is really like, okay, the parts of you that have been asleep, the parts of you that you've put to the back burner, are really feeling like for some of you, you could have had desires and wishes and wants that you didn't even think were possible. So you just kind of buried them deep down within, and just kind of, left them there, dormant. Judgment is like, no, no, no. It's time to wake that up. It's time to wake up those gifts, those callings, those talents, those skills, those desires, whatever, and bring them into life. They can't lie dormant anymore. And so with it crossing the Three of Swords, it really, for some people, this may really be more like you had your heart set on something, but the thing you had your heart set on actually was encouraging you to still live in the background, to push your dreams to the background, to put your talents on hold, and it's like Spirit is saying no more for that. So yeah, you have to have this jolt to wake you up so that you can actually step into the forefront of your own life, and so that you don't give all of where you don't let your talents and your dreams die. So many people live lives where they're only half living, and they're waiting on somebody else to give them their heart's desires. They're waiting on somebody else to make their dreams come true. They're waiting on somebody else to tell them they're smart enough, they're pretty enough, they're good enough, they're talented enough. And it's like Spirit is saying, no, you already know all of this stuff about you, but you've buried it deep. You've allowed certain dreams to die. You've allowed certain talents to go unnoticed for whatever reason. And so sometimes we have to lose something or be kicked out of something in order to stand in the fullness of our own power. And so I would encourage you, if you have any disappointments, any setbacks, any heartbreak, any whatever, ask yourself, okay, in losing this, what in me is actually being called to become alive because of this? What in me is being called to come to the forefront and to stand in my own power because of this thing that was lost, or this thing that caused any hurt or pain or any kind of way. Like, I'm not saying necessarily like look at the good side of it, like, oh, what's the, but more specifically is how the part of you that has been dormant, how is that coming into full life because of what was lost, or how can you rise up from that, is really the question that you should be asking yourself. And so this card here is like an outcome card and further clarity. Wow. Okay. And so you got the Hierophant. Wow. Okay. Hierophant, whenever I see this card, I know that there are certain rules and regulations that even institutions, like it could be governmental institution, school institution, the institution of marriage, so I don't know if some of you will be impacted where it's like somebody broke rules, somebody, maybe this heartbreak is coming because somebody broke the rules of marriage. Somebody broke legal rules or things dealing with taxes, or even things dealing with school. Wow. 1 second. Let me think for a second. it's like I'm feeling like even if some rules were broken, the Hierophant is calling you even okay, you are not exempt from the rules, right? So if somebody, for example, if somebody breaks your heart, or somebody does you wrong on the job and all that kind of stuff, it's so easy to say, well, that's how they broke the rules. They should have done this. They should have helped me this way. They should have, done whatever. They did me wrong, X, Y, and Z. But it's like I'm feeling that you also need to know that when you put yourself on the back burner, when you know that you have a gift or calling, a purpose, a skill, or whatever, and you refuse to live and to walk in that, then you also are not exempt from the rules. You also are not exempt from the consequences that come from not living your purpose. For letting somebody else sit in the driver's seat of your purpose. So even if they are wrong, you are equally as wrong, because you did not live in accordance with your own purpose, with your own gifts, with your own skills. You live below your self-worth, and there are consequences to that. So the Hierophant is saying, just know that there are consequences to that, but there are also consequences to doing what's right. There's also rewards, I should say, for doing what's right, for allowing the parts of you that need to be brought into full life. There are rewards to that as well, right? And there are benefits to that. And so you are highly encouraged to 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 it's almost like I'm feeling like karma in a way, but I don't know if that's even the word I want to say. But just knowing that you have an innate gift and a power within you, and failure to utilize that and to walk in that there are consequences to doing that, but there are also to not doing that, but there are also rewards for doing it. So just know that the law, all of the laws of the universe, from the law of attraction to the law of cause and effect to the laws of reciprocity, all of those. And I encourage you to even look up all of the divine universal laws. That you are not exempt from that, but you are also not exempt from the rewards that come from doing it. And so while you might be disappointed in someone else, any disappointment that somebody puts in your life is a direct result of you not standing in your own power. So as you judge someone else, you have to also judge yourself. Okay. So the goddess that chose to speak to you, wow, she came up last week for one of the card groups, is Artemis. And, whether you're a man or woman, doesn't matter. The goddesses speak to us all. So I'm going to read two messages from Artemis. The first is her empowerment message, and the second is her alignment message, just in case you find yourself out of alignment. So her empowerment message to you is: in order to fully embrace the intentions you have set in motion in your current conditions, it's important to seize the moment. Now is the time you can truly make your mark, as the Greek goddess of the hunt, Artemis, will help guide your arrow. Surrender yourself to the process of whatever is calling for your attention. Immerse yourself fully in whatever needs your focus, and allow yourself the experience of deep, abiding trust. If you aim true and your heart is open and pure, grateful for all the bounty that surrounds you, your deepest desires will manifest before you like magic. Wow. And her alignment message to you is: sometimes you can be so focused on one thing, one way, one outcome, or one expectation that you run the risk of losing the opportunity to experience what you truly desire. You may be so fixated that you become blind to what is truly yours and what will be in your best and highest good. The goddess of the hunt offers this alignment task. Soften your focus and allow the fulfillment of your desire to come to you as it will. Whether you hit your mark now is not the point. Rest your eyes and release the tension in your body. By taking this break, you will avoid shooting yourself in the foot and instead recognize that you are so loved. Success, love, and opportunity, all that is truly yours, will not run past you. Call on the goddess Artemis to remind you of this truth. Wow. So focus. be be remember what you should be focusing on. Partnerships are great. Love, business, whatever it is that you're involved in. I mean, we are all, nobody is an island, right? We must live and function amongst other people, but in doing so, we have to know who we are. You have to know who you are and stand in your own power. The more power, shared power is fine. I'm not saying that, you have to have all the power, but when you don't have power over yourself, when you diminish yourself, when you live below your self-worth, you're always setting your own self up for betrayal, hurt, heartbreak, and disappointment. And even though betrayal, heartbreak, and disappointment, they may have been somebody else's doing, you allowed it by not standing fully in your power. And this judgment card is what in tarot is known as a major arcana card. So it carries more weight than this three of swords, meaning your your willingness to be in full judgment of yourself and allowing the parts of you that are dormant to rise up and come to life and come to the light is more powerful than what anybody else can say or do. So it's important that you know that. And the Hierophant, also a major arcana card. So this card is also saying, because your power over yourself is more important than somebody else's power over your life, then the judgment and the rules that come, or the consequences or rewards that come from that, you have more control over that. So you have to focus your arrow, like Artemis is saying, focus your intention, but don't do it in such a way that you're not flexible, but be clear on who you are and what you deserve and desire in life, so that can come back to you. All right. So that is it for your reading this week, March 8th through the 14th, I believe. Make sure you comment your card selection down below by Monday, March 9th, if you want to be in the running to win our March giveaway. Make sure you click all of the links down below while the classes that I mentioned are still available, and the readings. Make sure you click the link for that. Leave a love offering, also known as a donation. Make sure you follow on Instagram and Facebook for the most up-to-date updates, and subscribe to this channel. So until we speak again, as always, I'm wishing you all so much peace and love. Thanks for watching. Well, hello there and welcome to the pick a card results for card group number 3 for March 8th through the 14th. I will quickly go over the announcements just in case you were one of the ones who skipped ahead. Make sure you comment your card selection down below by Monday, March 9th if you want to be in the running to win our March giveaway. Every week that you do that, your name goes in the hat an additional time, which increases your chances of winning. Make sure you go back and listen to the opening intuitive message, because not only did I do a bonus reading there, but I also had a very deep message. I said I wasn't going to talk for long, and then I did. So you want to make sure you go back and listen to that, because what I shared there will help you have a deeper understanding of what I will share here. And I also encourage you to, throughout the week, come back and listen to your card results as well as the opening intuitive message, because sometimes it can make more sense later in the week when you come back and listen to it. Down below, you will find the link to 2 limited edition classes. The first one is the Feminine Self-Care Secrets to Attract Abundance and Joy. And the second one is Pleasure and Abundance Are Your Birthright. Both of those are 1-hour classes. They were designed for women. But if you're a man, we all carry masculine and feminine energy within us. So feel free to download those as well. They're both really talking about using the energy of the sacral and the solar plexus chakras to attract wealth, abundance, joy, happiness, whatever it is that you those things that are in the domain of the feminine energy, attracting those things into your life with ease. So those classes are down below, and they're both an hour long, and they will only be available for a very short period of time. Also, there's a link to book your own personal reading, because these readings here are very general. You're not the only one who selected card group number 3. So if you want something specific to you, make sure that you book your own personal reading. Also, follow on Instagram and Facebook. Those links are down below, because I will be soon making announcements over there on how my business is changing. And so that will change how my products and services are available. So number one, you want to get them while they're still open and available to everybody. But number two, you want to be aware when I open up my email list and make the certain changes, and how you can be notified on those as well. Leave a love offering, also known as a donation, in support of this channel. And the link to do that is down below. Make sure you subscribe and like this video, and also share it, because that helps my channel as well. All right. So this week, March 8th through the 14th, is what we are focusing on, or is the week that this reading is for. And it's about the things that Spirit wants us to know as we are closing out Pisces season, as we're closing out Mercury Retrograde in Pisces, as we're having this full moon in a sign of Virgo. All of that I actually talk about in the opening intuitive message. But it's a lot of shifts that are happening, and you want to know what Spirit is saying to you, so that you can shift, so that the shift for you can be easy or easier. And so the stone that's at the top of your deck is a selenite. And selenite is one of those stones that is really helpful in helping you to connect with, helping you to hear clearly the messages, divine messages from Spirit, or your ancestors, or God, or however you define that, your higher self, And so selenite is one of those stones that's really good for that. It's really good for, I find it to be very good with the dream state. Like when I sleep with this stone under my pillow, my dreams are really on level 1 million. I mean, like, I'm a dreamer anyway, so it just takes my dreams to the next level. But selenite, sometimes you see it as a wand, like a long wand, and selenite also can help to set up a spiritual barrier, protection around you. It's such a great stone to have. So you know what I always tell you to do if you want to know more about this stone. Go to Google and type in selenite, Selenite, and there you will learn more. All right. So this week we're looking at, the messages that Spirit has for you at this time, what you most need to know, do, and be aware of at this time. The card on the bottom is your general wisdom and guidance, perhaps where you are now. The card that crosses it lets you know what can help or hinder you at this time. Let's see what you got going on. So you have the 9 of Wands, and it is crossed by Justice. All right. The 9 of Wands, and it is crossed by Justice. Wow. Okay. Whew. The 9 of Wands is a card of standing your ground. It's a card of undefeat. Now, it is a card of battle. You know what I'm saying? It is a card of, people having come your way, or situations or hardships or circumstances that keep knocking you down. But the 9 of Wands is a card that says, but I get up. It's like that song. Is it Donnie McClurkin? I think, we fall down, but we get up. We fall down, but we get up. All right. So that song is like a 9 of Wands song to me. It makes me think about that song, because it's like, no matter what weapons come your way, what comes your way, what circumstances, who said what about you, who did what to you, whatever, just hardship, one thing after another, your car broke down, your spouse left, whatever. I don't care. I mean, I do care, but I'm just saying, no matter what it is, I got to name all these examples because I don't know who's watching. But when life happens, you keep getting back up. You find your inner strength to stand. You find your inner strength to get back up. And the wands themselves are a suit of energy, of ambition, of drive, of passion. But in this case, I would stick with the word of energy, of strength, of power. So it's reminding you of your power to stand back up. So it's not necessarily about victory, but it is about being undefeated. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. So, it's like you still have the challenges. If you look at this person here, he's holding on to his wand, but he's still looking over like, okay, now who else wants some? Who else gonna try to come get it? So it's not necessarily a card of defeating your enemy or totally overcoming, but it is a card of knowing that you will not be overcome. So it's a very powerful card. And I like to see the Nine of Wands because it does remind you of your strength. On this lower energy though, it can put you in such a state of paranoia, of always being on guard, of not being able to relax and enjoy life because you're always looking over your shoulder thinking, what's going to happen next. You're always waiting for the other shoe to drop. You're always waiting on, somebody to do something, or, even when somebody is not trying to harm you, or, when somebody is trying to be your friend or trying to be helpful, you become super suspicious because you've had so many scenarios of people saying they're going to help you, people saying they're not going to betray you, people saying they're going to stand by your side, or opportunities seeming to be guaranteed, and then all of a sudden they're not, so it can indicate a time in your life when, because you've had to be on guard so much, it can make you, living like that makes you suspicious and not allows you to relax. The good thing about this week though is that it's being crossed by justice, and justice is what it says. I mean, look at this woman. She got her sword in her hand, in one hand, and she has the scales of justice in balance in the other. It's like ma'at. She is like, what is just, what is fair, what is even. And so if you have been dealing with, and I will say it like this, since this week we are looking at messages from spirit, what spirit wants you to know, it's like I feel like spirit coming to your defense, spirit fighting your battles, like where you thought you had to fight all of your own battles, where you felt that you had to do everything on your own, in your own strength, in your own intellect, in your own power, because you've been doing things on your own. Is it can be a weary life, it can be a weary way of life. And so spirit is like, okay, let me bring justice. Let me, so there are certain battles that you cannot fight on your own, that you need spirit, your ancestors, your righteous ancestors, your higher self, your angelic form, however I got to say everything because I don't know. There's a lot of people watching, so it's like you tapping into your invisible forces to fight on your behalf. And so this, in some ways, this might be a week of surrender for you, but it's a surrendering to God. It's a surrendering to, the Most High or your ancestors or whoever, and saying, look, I can't keep going about things the way I've been going about them because it's wearing me out. This Nine of Wands over the long term creates burnout. So justice is saying, it's like you saying, okay, I'm ready for real justice, real power to fight on my behalf. And so in order to have that, you do have to surrender in a way. You do have to put your wands down, not to the world, but any resistance that you have to God in helping you, for in spirit helping you, and you have to surrender and let the invisible forces that are on your side to fight powerfully on your behalf and to win the battle for you. I keep hearing that song, we fall down but we get up. So you might need to actually that may need to be your song for the week. I think it is by Donnie McClurkin. Just let that song play, we fall down but we get up, or any of those songs that really speak to knowing that there's only but so much you can do in your physical self that you can do. And if you go back and listen to my opening intuitive message where I talk about, us still being in Pisces season, a season of spirituality and, all of that. And then at the same time, having a full moon in a Virgo. So having a Virgo being a sign of being down to earth and practical, it's balancing those two, is bringing your spirituality into your practical world. In your case, it may be bringing, looking at your real practical day-to-day battles that you have or situations that you just don't know how to overcome, and then calling in spirit to come to your aid, to come to your defense and bring about justice. And for some of you, it might be so that you can actually win once and for all. So that something that keeps reoccurring in your life can finally be put to rest and be done. And you're not still having the same arguments and the same battles and the same situations over and over and over again, that you finally get justice on your behalf. And so the card, this outcome card that is here, oh wow, I just said about balance, is the Six of Pentacles. Yeah, the Six of Pentacles is a card of balance. Even though it is a Pentacles card, and so it does, on one hand, it could be financial, because it is a card about giving and receiving, law of reciprocity, and but it is about balance. All of that, for every cause there is an effect, so it is about balance. And if you look here, he has the scales of justice in his hand, just like justice has in her hand, bringing things into harmony and bringing things into balance. So if parts of your life have been out of balance, it could have been your money, like you're pouring money into a situation that is unjust, that doesn't benefit you, and or maybe somebody stealing money from you. There's justice being brought to that, or money being returned to you. There's justice and balance being brought to that. Or just however you are pouring out your energy. It doesn't necessarily have to be money, but however you are giving your time and energy, and even thought energy and worry energy and all that, this finally something coming into harmonious balance with that. And so that's a very good thing. That's a very good thing, because especially if there have been parts of your life that have been out of balance, out of whack, you just can't seem to find your equilibrium. That there's harmony coming to that area of your life, but that's something that you have to surrender to spirit to allow that to happen. And you can't be so focused on like this Nine of Wands. You can't still be just always looking over your shoulder and focused on what is going wrong, but you have to be focused on the justice that is being done on your behalf. Okay, so the Goddess card that came up for you, and the Goddesses speak to us all, whether we are man or woman, it doesn't matter. And whether you believe the goddesses actually existed or not, it doesn't matter. It's their stories that give the wisdom that you need. So the goddess that is speaking to you, wow, Yuki Onna. Haven't seen her in a while. Yuki Onna, she deals with, as it says here, stillness. Then there's trust that has to happen in quietness and stillness, trusting. What is that? Be still and know that I'm God. You fall down, but you get up, so it's still kind of the same message. I'm going to read two messages from Yuki Onna. The first is her empowerment message, and the second is her alignment message, just in case you find yourself out of alignment with her empowerment message. Okay. So her empowerment message to you is: the Japanese goddess of winter, Yuki Onna, calls you to a practice of daily meditation and stillness to prepare you for greater productivity and results. Being open and receptive, slowing down, and allowing for time to dream activates your partnership with the universe so you can truly set your intentions in motion. Then, almost without effort, you discover their vibrational match in the world of form. Just as the life force quietly builds within a seed buried under snow, so too will the energy build in the seed of your desires before manifesting with no effort on your part. You will find how easy it is to co-create while implementing a practice of stillness and receptivity. Let others make the first move at this time. as you assess and observe the world around you from the profound position of stillness and neutrality. In this way, the world becomes more intimate, yet you know to take nothing personally. When the goddess Yuki Onna comes to support you, be still. This calls in the miracles. The action now is non-action. Wow. What did I say? You got to surrender to spirit so that spirit can cause the justice that you need to be enacted on your behalf. So her alignment message says, some days you wake up frozen, stuck, and unable to move due to the effects of emotional denial and resistance to what is in front of you. Or maybe you are exhausted, spent from the emotional burden of your current situation. The winter goddess Yuki Onna has come to help you move out of and past this experience into a healthier state of stillness. When you are frozen, it's the ego that is refusing to accept life on life's terms, potentially causing you fear and depression. A particular situation or person may be causing you to see yourself as a victim. The goddess Yuki Onna reminds you that this is but a temporary moment in the millions of moments of your life. The task she has for you is to answer one question. Will you trust the great goddess in the universe to be your active partner in co-creating? If so, slow down and let all your troubles go, and you will see the miracles life has to offer you. Wow, this is so on point. Slow down and trust that the great goddess or your God or your ancestors will come on your behalf and fight your battles and cause justice to be made manifest in your life. Allow yourself to be still. All right. You fall down, but you get up. Stand still and know that God is God. You know that your ancestors are your ancestors and they're fighting powerfully on your behalf to bring about balance and healing and reciprocity and justice on your behalf. Is not something that you can do in your own strength. The only thing you can do is stand still and trust, believe, and know. All right. So that is your reading for this week, March 8th through the 14th. Make sure you comment your card selection down below by Monday, March 9th, if you want to be in the running to win our March giveaway. Make sure that you click the link below to get the 2 audio classes, the Feminine Self-Care Secrets to Attract Abundance and Joy, as well as Abundance and what is the name of my class? Pleasure and Abundance Are Your Birthright. Those are 2 1-hour classes that are available for a very limited time that you can download and listen to time and time again. Also book your own personal readings. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Facebook because some changes are coming to how my videos and my classes and my readings will be made available. And I want you on that list. Also, leave a love offering, also known as a donation, for this channel that encourages me to continue doing this work. And then also subscribe to this channel and like this video. That also helps my channel, encourages me to continue doing this work. All right. So until we speak again, I am wishing you all so much peace and love. Thanks for watching. All right, thanks for watching this pick a card for the week of March 8th through the 14th. Make sure you comment down below by Monday, March 9th in order to be entered to win our March giveaway. Make sure you click down below to download my 2 classes, The Feminine Self-Care Secrets to Attract Abundance and Joy, as well as Pleasure and Abundance Are Your Birthright. Those 2 classes are an hour long each and will be available for a very limited time. So make sure you download those now. Click down below to book a personal reading and get my book, The Magic of Self-Love. Also follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Those links are down below because on those social media platforms, I will be making announcements on how to get on my email list and some changes that are coming to my my business and how my readings and videos will be made available. So I want you on that list. So make sure you follow me over there. Subscribe to this channel. Support this channel through a love offering and like this video and share this video. All right. And so until we speak again, I am wishing you all so much peace and love. Thanks for watching.